Zodiac. Just sit with that word for a second. Suspended in complete isolation. No context, no dates, no locations. In the world of historical documents and data analysis, we're usually just drowning in information. But today, we're facing something entirely different. We are staring into a complete and utter void, punctuated only by a single, terrifying identifier.
So welcome to this explainer. We're going to try something a bit highly experimental today. We're taking a hyper-focused look at a source text that is defined entirely by its haunting emptiness. We've basically been handed a document that contains virtually nothing but a name. Our challenge here isn't to sift through mountains of evidence, because there isn't any, but to ask ourselves, what can we actually extract from the absolute bare minimum? How do we even begin to understand the architecture of a mystery when we're given literally nothing but the label itself? Let's start by confronting the only substantive phrase we actually have. Zodiac killer. With only these two isolated words to go on, we have to use that absolute void of surrounding information as a tool to understand the psychological weight they carry. Without police reports, without timelines, or suspect profiles, these two words are forced to do all the heavy lifting. The source material flat out refuses to give us a narrative. It just gives us this title. So we have to look at the words themselves, treating them not just as text, but almost like a carefully constructed artifact. Let's break down the semantic weight and structure of the very first word in our text. Think about the stark reality of the number 6 for a second. 6 letters. Zodiac. That's the exact number of characters that construct the first half of this identity. When you have no other data to work with, structural realities like letter counts become the only tangible metrics you can actually grasp onto. It's this compact, dense, 6-letter block of meaning that sets the entire stage. And that word, standing completely alone, zodiac, it immediately evokes this intense cosmic and astrological imagery, doesn't it? It suggests stars, constellations, grand cycles of time, the vast, unknowable universe. Yet, it's completely unmoored from any historical context here. The source doesn't tell us why this cosmic term is used. It just drops this massive, almost mystical concept right in our laps, forcing us to grapple with a word that's usually reserved for horoscopes and astronomy, now deployed in a very, very different way. Now let's look at the second part of the phrase, where the narrative gets significantly darker. Chiller. The sudden addition of this specific, violent noun instantly grounds the abstract cosmic concept of that first word into a grim, fatal reality. We go from the stars straight down to the dirt. It's just a harsh, uncompromising word. The source material doesn't use a softer term, right? It doesn't say suspect or person of interest. It uses the most blunt, absolute noun possible, locking the identity of the subject firmly to the act of taking life. And this brilliantly illustrates the jarring juxtaposition we're dealing with. The abstract, overarching, almost ethereal nature of zodiac clashes violently with the brutal finality of killer. The tension between these two words is palpable. One belongs to the heavens, the other to the darkest parts of humanity. Together, they create a friction that makes the moniker unforgettable, which honestly is perhaps all the source document ever intended to convey. Stripped of all narrative history, let's examine the literal, physical composition of the phrase itself. Notice the eerily balanced character count here. We have exactly 6 letters for zodiac and exactly 6 letters for killer. It's this structural symmetry that really emphasizes the stark minimalism we're working with. It's almost unnerving how perfectly balanced it is. 6 and 6. Equal weight on both sides of the scale. The cosmic and the brutal, just held in this perfect, rigid equilibrium. The crucial point here is that our entire universe of provided information is split perfectly down the middle. Half of it is this cosmic moniker, and the other half is a brutal definition. There's no gray area, there's no extraneous information taking up space, just a perfect 50-50 division of pure identity. Visualizing this perfect, unyielding symmetry kind of forces us to confront the frustrating emptiness of having absolutely nothing else to analyze. When a source provides such a terrifyingly symmetrical, closed-off piece of text, it leaves you desperate for a variable, a discrepancy, just a loose thread to pull on. But here, there are no loose threads. Just 2 equal blocks of 6 letters standing shoulder to shoulder in the void. So let's step back and look at the full provided context, which is, well, an excerpt of itself. Listen carefully to the entirety of the source material provided for this analysis, excerpts from Zodiac Killer. Zodiac Killer. That's it. It merely repeats the title in a terrifying closed loop of non-information. It promises an excerpt, a piece of a larger whole, but then delivers only the title of the whole itself. It's a tautology, like a snake eating its own tail. The document points to itself and says absolutely nothing else.
So, what else is there? Nothing. This heavy silence is exactly what the source material provides. There are no dates, there are no locations, no victims listed. There is a terrifying lack of further context, facts, or answers anywhere in the material provided. We are left completely alone in the dark with nothing but a name. And that leaves us grappling with one final concept, the psychological footprint of these two words. When all other facts vanish and the source material runs entirely dry, we have to ask ourselves a fundamental question about how we process information. Does the chilling power of a name become the only reality left behind? When you strip away every single detail, does the sheer, balanced, juxtaposed weight of Zodiac Killer hold enough dark gravity to sustain a mystery all on its own? It's a fascinating testament to the power of language in a total vacuum. Thanks for joining me on this highly focused exploration. Keep questioning the text, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.